Hi everyone, welcome to Spark TV channel. It's your boy Mr. Kennedy. This is the only channel based in the United States which brings you the best information, education and exclusive interview both local and international. Today I have with me one of the finest, freshest international gospel artists who has been in the industry for so long. In case you don't know who I'm talking about, stay tuned and watch this video.
Auto. Yeah. Oh, yeah, me fit party, yeah. Yeah, no crowd, wait a minute now. Yeah. You've got a time of life for me. And until now, the double more. Makume muto, I'm fair penny. Ooh, right at your tea. Right at your tea. And until now,
Welcome back, fellas. I have with me Fritz Oakley. Hi Fritz, how are you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm chill.
Man,
I'm lit.
Looking fresh, man.
As usual, bro. Oh no, just kidding. I'm just you know, it's all jokes before, you know, people take me seriously. Anyway, thanks for having me, though.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having time for me.
I mean, you know, that's what friends, that's what brothers do, I suppose. You know.
So, Fritz, you've been in the industry for so long. Can you tell us about yourself, your background, and where you grew up?
First of all, I was born and raised in Ghana. Nurtured in Greater Accra. You know, spent a big deal of my life, you know, a greater part of my life in East Legon, Medina, that area. I was a Kubolo. Look, yeah. Dadaba Kubolo. You know, I wasn't, you know, Dadabi, you know, entirely, but you know, I mean, we're not broke. You know, the basic stuff, you know, necessities of life. I had access to it like easily. My parents were like, I wouldn't say upper class, you know, slightly above middle class, you know. I had the best education. I schooled in St. Andrews GSS. Then I went on to Infants Film School in Cape Coast, one of the best high schools in Ghana. Just saying. After which, I went to University of Ghana, Legon, and where I studied math, statistics, and economics. Yes, and then graduated 2012. But prior to my graduation, I think it was during high school. I think my first year in high school that I developed a love for music, for singing. But before that, I thought I was going to become a dancer. Because like growing up, I was always like dancing like at people's like weddings and funerals and all that. And, you know, I thought I was going to become the next Michael Jackson. Apparently that didn't work out too well. I did it. But yeah. So that's a brief, you know, history about my upbringing in
That's
Ghana.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So thinking about dancing, did you really had a show that you dance?
I wouldn't say I had a show that I dance, but like I think even still now, even though I've switched, you know, genres like in music, I think I'm still the life of the party. Like that's just my nature. I like to dance. I'm typically very loud. I don't quite have a filter, unfortunately. But like I'm very big at life, and so it wasn't even necessarily just about the dancing. But I think I had this tendency to entertain people wherever I went, even if it was a funeral, even if it was a wedding, if it was a baby naming ceremony or whatever. So I wouldn't directly say that it was only about dancing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So at which point did you develop the love for music?
So it was my first year in high school. I'd gone to a church service. My first church service. When I was growing up, I didn't really have the chance. I didn't really have the chance to go to church. So when it comes to like live music, I had never really experienced what live music was. However, I would randomly, be dancing to. I don't know if you remember Freddie Mayweather of Zopla Zofe.
Yeah,
Please, the Saints, don't come for me. But Freddie Mayweather, Michael Jackson, those days we had Book Bag,
Right.
Tony Tetuila, TikTok,
Right.
and I would randomly, sing, their songs and then dance in the living room or whatever.
Just doing
But I never
copy.
really paid attention to music. I never really paid attention to singing. It was my first year in high school, I think in the year 2004. Yo, I'm so old, yo.
Yeah, you're old.
2004, our first church service, and then somebody sang. I had goosebumps. I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
So, it kind of, I don't know how to put it, but it pretty much just, like, I had an awakening. I was like, oh my God, a guy can actually sing like that. And so I went back to the dormitory and it became an obsession. I was trying to imitate exactly what the guy was doing.
Like a copyright.
Yes, yeah, I was trying to, and then the rest was history. But ultimately, I joined the school choir just to escape from, chores, like, because I was a boarding school. So,
Right.
if you're in the school choir, you don't get to do all those, like, evening chores and all of that. So it was an escape for me. But in my quest to escape from, the bullying and the seniors disturbing you and everything,
to cover
I
it up
discovered
with music.
what would eventually turn out to be my passion, I guess. Yeah.
So you were just hiding from
Yes, exactly.
working, covering up with music.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So all these things started. When did the original music, the journey of your music really started?
So the journey of my music is quite interesting because by the time I had finished high school, so we had this thing called awards. I don't know if your high school did that, but like at the end of every graduating year, we had,
Awards.
we awarded the most fashionable, best dancer and all that. I emerged best vocalist.
Right.
So it was a 3-year journey, but that 3-year journey, being in the choir and being on those singing groups, it really helped actually nurture me into the singer that I am now. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to owe, of course I'm going to owe everything to God, but the process, the scrutiny, everything, I think it started from high school.
Right.
The discipline of having to learn parts, which of course I've completely thrown away because my friends say I can't sing in parts, but it started from there. And then, we would go to like high schools like Archbishop Potter Girls, Wesley Girls High to go and sing.
Schools.
And I'm a fans, rough.
Yeah.
So by the time I'd finished high school, of course, I emerged best male vocalist. And then my first year in the University of Ghana, Legon, a friend of mine said he wanted to go for an audition. There was an audition going on. City FM was hosting it.
Wow.
It was being sponsored by Vodafone, all those. I'm like, okay, yeah, uncle. So the intent was to go and escort him. I'm going to support a friend. We got there, and for some funny reasons, my friend didn't make it. And then I had another friend there who was like, Fritz, I think you should try it. I'm like, nah, man, this thing, the way they've bounced this guy, I'm not. I entered the room. I think I was one of the last people to audition. There were so many people, and there are actually a lot of artists who are very huge now who were part of that audition. I went into the room and I see Abraham Ohinijan of, I think, OM Studios,
Yeah.
Jessica Paris Saforo, I think Irene Logan was there. All these big names were there, and I can't remember the song that I sang for my audition.
Can you sing it for us?
It was Alicia Keys, No One. I'm not gonna sing now, bro. It was Alicia Keys, No One. It's No one, no one, no one can get in the way of what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So it was my audition song,
Right.
and for a moment, you could hear a pin drop. There was like total silence, and then after that, you could realize they were giving a round of applause, and then the rest was history. We had
The rest was
13
history.
grilling weeks of like tough competition, And then I emerged the winner at the end of, at the grand finale. And fortunately or unfortunately, or however you want to put it, I was very down, like I was very like ill like on the grand finale. So in my head, I thought I wasn't going to win, but I emerged winner by God's grace. I won my car. So at the age of 18, by the age of 18, I had my own car. I had the world at my feet.
So how did really at the age of 18 you have a car? The girls and all that. Being a musician, how was it? How was the feel?
It was fun, and I'm not gonna lie you, it was fun. But at the same time too, it also came with its dark side.
Right.
There's a dark side to film. That is why you see, even like internationally, there are people who become so huge in the beginning, and all of a sudden they just, and so in as much as I was living my dreams, I was living my life, I was, I had all the attention, I got the opportunity to become famous. I was a model for Vodafone for 2 years. I did billboards, I did TV commercials. Like during that time, I would say like during that era, I would probably say like I was probably like the Justin Bieber of that era.
I know.
Because like I was almost everywhere. TV commercials, he's out there, like doing singles. That was nominated for, can you imagine, my first ever single that was released. I was nominated for Ghana Music Awards, Best Male Vocalist category. First time music video awards, Discovery of the Year. Like everything was just, it kind of felt like all the stars had aligned in my favor. So it was, but then there was a dark side to it that I wouldn't want to dwell too much on, but there was a dark side to it that I think most artists will tell you.
Yeah.
You become like a puppet, or you become like a clown. You go outside, entertain people, and once the curtains is drawn, or the curtains close, it's just you.
Yep. It's you.
It's just you.
What parts of the globe are you? Which corner of Ghana do you find yourself? Is the US too far from you? And you're finding it difficult to get the information and entertainment that happens in the United States? The quest is over. Spark TV channel is bringing you the best information, education, exclusive interviews and entertainment, both local and international. Stay connected with Spark TV on Facebook, Spark TV, YouTube, Spark TV, Twitter, Spark TV, and Instagram, Spark TV. Spark TV, bridging the gap.
So Fritz, you were doing so well in the music industry. You won this car. The girls was coming. The money was coming, and all that. But what triggered you to move from the secular music to do gospel?
I think first of all, when you first asked me that, about myself and everything, and how my journey was and everything, I did say that there was a side to fame that was very fun and interesting, but there was another dark side to it where, most famous people would rather just resort to drugs or sex or whatever just to try to and fill that void. For me, my journey was a bit different, because even back when I was doing music in Ghana, my parents didn't think that it was a career that would bring me stability in the long run.
Right.
And so I had this constant pressure of make sure you finish this course, make sure you graduate and everything. And it was really hard. And people who went to University of Ghana will tell you that being in the maths department is no joke.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
And I don't know how I didn't fail. I didn't get a third class, thank God. So shortly after that, they were like, hey, you know what, enough of this music thing. We are flying you off to the United Kingdom to go and do your master's.
Oh, so you did your master's in
Yeah, so that's how I left Ghana.
Oh.
And so I had to choose between my future and then my passion.
Right.
And that also, I think one of the things that really facilitated it was the pressure from my parents. So I did still, sure, did go ahead, went on to the UK to do my master's.
Right.
And it was during that process that I joined this church. I'm like, oh, I kind of like it. So mine wasn't the whole, I had an epiphany and the Lord God appeared to me in a dream, It was a process.
But were you a church boy?
Prior to that, I was a church boy, but I wasn't too serious. So it was, I don't know how to put it. I think that God placed me at the right place at the right time. That's how I felt, So it was, I think, a year after I'd completely vanished from the public eye. Nobody knew where I was. And then for once in my life, all over again, I felt invisible.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't, like back in Ghana, unam no be a show until you could And what even made it worse was that the car that I won, they imprinted winner of Voice Factory 2009. It's just that I had no privacy.
Yeah.
So when I went to the UK, I was like, oh, I could actually get used to this.
Love this life.
I became comfortable, and so in as much as I became comfortable, at the same time too, I still loved to sing. And the only place that I could sing and, just go on about my business was church. But during that process, I think God was doing his own thing. So I won't come and sit here and say that, oh, and that, that kind of thing. No. It was a process. And then gradually, that void that I had was gradually being filled. And, and here we are today.
So, Fritz, secular music, you have all this money, you play shows, stage shows and all that. But comparing secular music to the gospel music, how can you weigh it, like, in terms of incentive, in terms of the money, in terms of...
I think for me, the biggest challenge wasn't even about the money. The biggest challenge for me was acceptance, because here I am switching from secular music to gospel music, and Christians in general, they are naturally just prejudiced. Oh, you unclean thing, you human, you person of the world, you Pharisee, blah blah. I've heard all of that.
Yeah.
But just say but you see, at the end of the day, in as much as there's that group of, we have a group of people who wouldn't accept you or who wouldn't like you for whatever reason, no matter what. There's also, another side, another group of, a whole set of group of people who still adore you and would still accept you. And I keep saying this thing all the time. Like, you don't get to choose who God uses and who God will not use. Am I making sense? God hasn't given anybody any spiritual thermometer. God hasn't given anybody any mandate to decide or determine who he's going to use or who he's not going to use. Am I making sense? At the end of the day, we are all vessels.
Sure.
And ultimately, it's the judgment day that will determine whether we came on earth and did our assignment well or not. Right. So I don't listen to, I don't really listen to what people say. I think so. That's one of the things that I had to be deliberate about it. I had to block my ears.
Right.
So even though sometimes things that sometimes things people will say to me would hurt, I still, I gotta keep walking.
Just have to keep
because I know so Ghana has we are just kind of if you are omote yase most of American business ase okay bebo me club and I say oh bebo program yase oh ebia Ghana Music Awards and I say first time oh you say na betu ya and I say let's come to an agreement ebia we are going to show the performance on national television and to put your music out there. So it's a 50-50 thing. We are not going to give you the full amount, but this is what we are going to do for you.
Right.
So that way, nobody loses. Gospel music, only because it's the work of God, people tend to use a lot, and that is the part that I've actually received a lot of backlash, because I've been very controversial and very vocal about Sika Seminole. But yeah.
So controversial 70 ever bow.
Oh, ever bow.
Yeah, ever controversial. So Fritz, we know some people who were doing secular music, and they went to do gospel music. Later on, they figured out that the market in the gospel music wasn't that, they came back to do secular music. What is your...
I think we really need to be very lenient on people like that, because first of all, in as much as we do have the spiritual aspect of ministry and gospel music, I think there's also that human aspect of artistry or doing music.
Right.
Even in the Bible, Krapo said, correct me if I'm wrong, say you will be talent. I say the Johnny Brennan here. The entire thing I was say, you know, make quiet. So it's basically the same thing. I'm doing music.
Right.
It is my career. That is my job. Now the only difference between myself and a secular artist is that the secular artist is singing about girls,
right,
or boobs or booty,
right,
and I'm singing about Christ. So why is it that I don't deserve to be paid? Why is it that I don't deserve, you know, to be able to, you know, put food on the table? Am I making sense?
Right, yeah.
But at the end of the day, we should realize that we are real people living in a real world with bills to pay.
Right.
So imagine me driving all the way from New York City to Boston to go and minister, to go and worship with a church, with a group of people. They have a fundraising. Oh, Minister Fritz drove all the way from here. Let's bless him. And you clearly see that they brought the offering bowl. Fundraising. Oh, such a lot. I said, now, man, the $50 I shall God bless you. And yeah, God bless you. God bless you. Now, and I'm supposed to keep quiet and just walk away like, oh, and yes, you know. In the beginning stages, it's all you could tolerate it only because I could tolerate it only because I felt like, you know what, this is my calling. And but Charlie, we are so now bleedy, my guy.
I mean, bleedy. Yes, I know bleed. But thinking of it, is it about the money or something like that?
And that is the excuse a lot of people make. And you know, and he's doing gospel music because of money, blah 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 blah. But that is the part that the church has failed, or the Christians, they've really failed like big time, or the, you know, stakeholders who are like, you know, ministry money they're supposed to see to get said these artists are paid or whatsoever. In Japan, won't say there are a lot of talented people in the church. It's either they leave and go and do secular music,
right,
or they just stay there and stay broke, and that's it. And the church itself doesn't even support. Now, we have examples of churches that have been very supportive. Right. Can I give you an example? Christ Embassy, they are so big on it. Christ Embassy, because of Pastor Chris and how much, you know, he values his singers and ministers, we have the likes of Sinash, we have the likes of Eben, we have the likes of Ada. Yeah. And the list goes on and on. I think even Moses Bliss, we are getting bigger every day. So, and guess what? These are people that are, you know, randomly given, oh, take $100,000, you know, you have blessed my ministry. Right. So why is it that we can't, you know, I'm not saying that every church has money like
so
Christ Embassy. They don't support. I'm sorry, guys, but we need to do better. We need to do a better job, you know. So you can't blame people for doing secular, going gospel, and then they are getting broke. And then, you know, they go back to doing secular, then we are complaining, right, you know. Of course, listen, guys, don't try to get me wrong. The saints, I beg, because y'all always come for me. I'm trying to say this. It's not about the money, but we need to understand that we are living in a real world. And sometimes people need to be encouraged. People need to be motivated. We still don't have this all figured out yet. So, Mr. Ramo, we need to do a better job.
Fritz, beginning of this year, we saw you've released a banger. It's just Oluwa Noni. It's a great song, and it's making waves in the. What was the inspiration towards that music? Because Oluwa is in Nigeria, and Noni, most of the people doesn't understand Noni. What was the inspiration towards that song? Oluwa Noni.
I think first of all, I'd like to thank God. I know it sounds corny, but I'd like to thank God for giving me that song. But then also, I realized that after I switched to doing gospel music, I was trying to find my place. I kind of felt like I didn't fit in. The way I looked, the way I dressed, the way I sounded,
right,
the kind of music that I was drawn to. I didn't listen. I love Joe Metal. I love Sonny Badu. I love Jonathan McReynolds. But guess what? I didn't want to be another Jometo. I didn't want to
Right.
become another. I would love to get to the level that they've gotten to, the heights that they've gotten to.
Right.
But I wanted to be myself, but also be able to preach the gospel in the way that I understand it.
Right.
And for me personally, like, I've always been like a storyteller when it comes to like my writing and, you know, how I compose my music and everything. And so when I recorded Oluwanoni, it was one of the easiest recordings I'd ever done. And I think that really was an epiphany for me, because it shows that actually this is what you are really good at.
Right.
Stop forcing yourself to be somebody you are not. That is how come for this song, I didn't have to beg anybody, please promote me, promote me, promote me.
Right.
You know, so I think that originality also played a good role,
Yeah.
because I could hear myself in it.
that is Fritz.
That is me.
Yeah.
That is, you could see a lot of my personality in there. You could, of course, I'm delivering the message. So
Right.
I'm talking about how great, how powerful God is.
Right.
But you know, and I also realized that I am not for everybody.
Right. Some people will like the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember I went to church just last Sunday, and then one of the mama for
Yeah.
Fritz, come over, but I say and it's okay.
Yeah.
I am not meant
There
for
should be-
everybody. Exactly.
yeah.
So I'm grateful for this opportunity, honestly. Like I said, and I repeat again, I'm grateful to God for actually, you know, like opening my eyes and making me like understand that I don't have to fit in.
Right.
You know, I don't have to fit in. I don't have to be, you know, like everybody else, you know, to be the artist that
Just
I
have
want to
to
be,
be-
basically. Yeah.
Fellas, Oluwanoni is making waves out there. You have to go check it out on Fritz Oakley on YouTube. Man, you're gonna love this song. It's awesome, incredible, it's great.
So they go try. Them go talk. Them go try. We never go down, yeah. Oluwanoni, aye. Oluwanoni, aye. Oluwanoni, aye. Oluwanoni, aye.
1,000 go fall for my left, 10,000 go fall for my right, 1,000 go fall for my left, 10,000 go fall for my right.
Can you tell us about the kind of genre you do? Is it Afro pop? Is it R&B? Is it cools? I don't know if you can tell us the kind of genre you do. What kind of genre?
I know this is going to sound
Categorize
corny to a
yourself.
lot of people, but I think I'm just doing Fritz music.
All right.
And because, you know, you can't really, I think it's a mix of everything. And I'm currently working on my EP. It's a 5-track EP, and it's not the usual style you would hear from Fritz, the typical, you know, I love ballads, trust me. Like, I'm big on ballads. Ballads, yeah, I'm fairly cool, so.
Oh, cool. So right.
You know, you know, I really love ballads, but I feel like I'm not getting any younger. I need to spread my wings. I need to really explore parts of myself that I've always been scared to explore. You know, so and also I did realize that there's a part of me that really appeals to like the young folks, the youth. And you see, that's this. I want to say this thing. Our way of understanding Christ and the love of Christ is completely different from somebody's way of understanding Christ. And we live in a dispensation where the young folks, like people who are like, you know, the millennials and people who are, you know, like below 30 years, you know, down, they like Afrobeats.
Sure. Very.
They like Afrobeats.
Even the American, the white
Exactly,
people,
they like Afrobeats. So I think that as an artist too, I think that you'd also really need to synchronize the times that you're living in with your craft. Right. And so this is what I'm trying to do. I'm working on an Afrobeats, hip hop, Christian genre type,
right?
You know, EP.
Afrobeats,
yeah,
EP, and Coos. And you right.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, this is Fritz Oakley. The one and only. He's lovely and all that. Fritz, as fresh as you are, this question, don't swerve. Don't swerve from this question. As fresh as you are you single?
I'm not single.
All right.
I am dating.
You're dating?
Yes, I you know, in Timothy, I'm going to pull a geometry on all of you very soon.
Really?
If I say pull a geometry, you know what it means.
I
say more when I send him invitation, someone brought wedding, and you know.
Okay, I know the Miaka.
I know. I'm trying to why groomsman. You never know. So we full anya kesi dia. You know, groomsman.
That's awesome. Fritz, so you've released a really nice song, a banger. Oluwanoni is awesome. It's great. So what is the next move? What are you planning towards? You know, what are you working on?
So like I said earlier, I'll be releasing a 5-track, you know, Afrobeat, hip hop, you know, hip life, Christian genre type EP. Hopefully before the end of the summer, I'll be releasing it like in singles. Right. You know, I'll probably like release 2-3 singles, and then I'll release the EP. But I'll be doing an EP listening party, right, hopefully in Manhattan shortly. I'll put out the details when we are ready. You know, yes, I guess that's what I'll be doing, and then I might be doing. I just might, depending on, because you never know. We are in different times right now because of Corona and everything. Right. I'm planning my first non-Christmas concert, because everybody knows I'm always doing Christmas.
The one you do
every year.
Every year.
Hopefully this year I'll try and do my own concert in the summer.
So what do you mean about non-Christian?
Non-Christmas.
Non-Christmas concert.
Yeah, because the event that I'm most known for is the event that I'm most known for is Christmas concert. My Christmas in Manhattan with Oakley and friends. But this time I'm trying to put together my own concert.
Summertime.
Where and it's completely not going to be anything about Christmas. You know, right. Of course I'll be having my another Christmas concert, but these are my plans. However, I don't really have too much expectations. Of course I hope things will work out, but I'm going at my own pace.
Right.
And I think that it's pretty much dependent on perfect timing and seasons and God's will for my life. So I'm taking it one step at a time. Let's see if it all comes together. But with the help of God and by the grace of God, I hope things would go as planned. And so basically that is what I'm up to this year. Yeah.
Fred, so what message do you have for your fans, and what are you going to tell the youngsters who want to do music, and advice for them? Because right now people are looking for the money and the fame. What message do you have for the fans and those youngsters who want to do music?
I think that first of all, if you are really aligned with God, everything will fall in place. If you're aligned with His plans and His purpose for your life, I think everything will fall in place. Making money shouldn't be your ultimate goal. Of course, we all want to be rich. We all want to, fly, to the most, exotic and expensive destinations and all that. We want the fame and everything. But right. I think that when you stay focused and you don't pay attention to like any distraction around you. Do what you do what you're passionate about. However, stay original. And hey, listen, it's okay to be young, cool, and hip, and still serve and worship God.
Right.
Okay, don't let anybody talk you down. Don't let anybody let you think that you're of the devil or whatever only because you wear a hoodie or you wear a durag or whatever. Listen, stay original. Be happy. Don't let anything weigh you down. Trust me, it's not worth it. And remember God every day. Every time you wake up from bed, remember to say a thank you to God. And before you go to bed, say thank you to God too. So that's all I've got to say. And thank you for having me, Mr. Amo.
Thank you for having time for me.
It was a pleasure.
Pleasure too. Do you have any social handles that your followers can?
Yo guys, I'm very active on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is Oakley's Gram. You know, we say cools, me say ballads. But listen, it's Oakley's Gram, OAKLEYSGRAM. I'm sure you're gonna put it on the header, you know, when you upload the video. So yeah, thank you very much for having me once again.
Spark TV. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.